everybody. I went through all of the listings on eBay to determine what I'm still going to sell. And I went through already and pulled out what is still listed. So out of like my items, these are like the physical items that are not clothing, basically, right here. So we've got these Pyrex mugs. I was listing these 2 in a set. Instead, I listed them all 6 in one set to see if they'll sell. And they have sold that way before. I was just trying to make more money by selling them individually. This set is also for sale. It's a set of 5 mugs. And then these Jack Daniel's Wyuter Hooter glasses, they have a recipe on the back for one of theirs. It was for some event that Jack Daniel's did. I've got 2 books that are still listed. This Lodge Cast Iron Skillet book, and then the Becoming God's True Woman book. The Slice-O-Matic is still listed as well. This Netgear router is still listed. The LeapPad backpack, and a Walt Disney World Animal King, or whatever it's called. What is it called? Yeah, Animal Kingdom, right? Yeah, Disney's Animal Kingdom, yeah, for 2004. And then Triominoes, I still have that listed. So I had a lot of things that I took off of my listing. Basically, all that's listed now as active is 17 items. So because of that, I really got to get listed on some of this stuff. But what I need to do first is I need to go through the stuff that I have listed already, or that I had listed and took down, that I'm not going to sell, because I'm going to get them together to donate because they're not worth it. And that's mainly these things, although this mug back here I'm keeping for myself because I like it. It's a cute little Christmas mug with reindeer. I thought it was cute. And it is a Ski Lodge Lori Siebert mug. I like it. For some reason, it just didn't sell. I don't know why, because it's really pretty. So I'm keeping it for myself to use for Christmas time. So that one I'm keeping in my own stash. So, because it brings me joy. But yeah, all of these things, they're going to go to donate because I'm just not going to make enough money off of them, which is sad. One of them's an Elvis Presley mug. So sad. That's going to go back. A plate, one thing I learned, don't buy collector plates. They just don't sell. You basically have to give them away. And then there's a board game that was still left that I wasn't able to sell either. Oddly enough, out of a big old stash of board games, and it's the only one left. So, I'm not sure why. It's the Reminiscing game, if you've ever heard of that. Anyway, and these boxes still need to go to my office. And then actually I do have the clothing that I'm still have listed here. So that's going to be this women's shirt here. I already have all my clothing already bagged up, ready to go, so I literally just have to stick a packing slip inside and then seal it up and mail it off. Put a shipping label on top. Alright, there's that. This women's sweater is still listed. It's actually a junior sweater. Here's another one. It's basically the same sweater in a different color. One's purple, one's green. This shirt here is still listed as well. Basically, one thing I've learned is I have a lot of women's things that didn't sell. Most of my men's things sold. So that's a men's shirt there. Here's another men's shirt. This is a Nautica shirt. I remember that. I don't remember the brand names for all of these. And then there's another men's shirt. So that's all my clothing that's listed. So all in all, that's what I have listed still on my eBay site. I am going to be listing some more things because one thing I learned is I'm about to lose top rated seller just based off of the number of sales I've had. I have the dollar of sales that I need to have to be top rated, but not the number of sales. So I'm going to have to get to listing. Again, they basically gave me a 30-day grace period, so which is now about 20 days of the grace period. So I've got to get this stuff organized and going through so I know what to list that's going to be worth it and I'll make some money off of. And oddly enough, once I started going through this stuff and listed and had it only listed as 17 items, I sold something. Go figure. A Pendleton sweater that I had listed for like ever. It was a women's sweater that honestly I was going to keep if it wasn't going to sell, but it did finally sell whenever I dropped it down to the lowest price. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to go through the stuff that I'm not selling. So here's some things in here that aren't going to sell. I'm not going to make as much profit off of, so I'm just going to donate it. All these boxes like scooted up for some reason. And then all of these things in here, some of them are packaged, some of them aren't. They're going to go back to being donated too. So I don't have a lot to donate. I do have a bunch of clothing to donate though that didn't sell. Mainly men's clothing, because it's just, I learned that they just don't hold value. So it's one of those things that once you get them and they're good brands, you better list them quick, because they're going to decrease in value quick. So lesson learned, right? All right, and then my next step I'm going to do is to go through all of these boxes that are still things I'm supposed to list, and I'm going to see if they're still going to be worth it to list. If I'm not going to make at least $12, if I'm not going to be able to sell them for at least $12 plus shipping or something like that, then I'm going to go and donate that as well. So first I'm going to go through these, put all these things in donate bags or boxes in the case of the breakables and stuff like that. Oh, I also have these things up here that I'm not selling either. So, all right. And we will go from there. So I'm going to do that now. I was going through stuff and I just had to share this. This was actually from my very first thrifting haul. I know, crazy, right? Cute little Garfield with spooky pajamas, spooky slippers. He's got a tag on him so I can list him new with tags. Excellent condition. I found out this is actually something you can get in a not pinball machine. You know, one of those claw machines. And so that's why I didn't get to sell it. And one thing that this teaches me is this taught me that I need to do my research. This was the very first time coming out. It's literally, I watched, what was that show called? Thrift Hunters. The first few episodes, and I'm like, I can do this. And I just go out there with like 20 bucks, bought this as one of those things. And actually it was a bunch of Garfields somebody was getting rid of all at once. I did sell the other Garfields. This is the only one left. And it's just because this one was just a tiny one. And honestly, the other Garfields didn't sell for very much, which was kind of disappointing. But it's just kind of funny that I still had this from my very first sale. I mean, from my very first sale, from my very first haul. My very first sale actually came from the same haul. And it was a pair of ice skates for kids. Basically training skates where they can put them on top of their shoes. And that sold to somebody in New York. That was my very first sale on eBay. So in case y'all ever wanted to know when it all started, that was then. And so anyway, this guy's going to go. As much as he's cute and stuff like that, I just don't want to keep him because, you know, but he is a good reminder that if you're going to go into eBay and do this as a reseller, you need to know your stuff and do your homework. And this just wasn't one that was worth it. I have since learned more about Garfields and more things to look for in Garfields. So Garfields aren't totally out of the question, but just not this kind. So anyway, just wanted to share. And this is the clothing that would not sell. So I have an LL Bean women's button-down shirt. It's just really good quality. I'm surprised it didn't sell, but it didn't. And it didn't retain its value. This one didn't really surprise me that it never sold. It's a Hollister. It is a size small, but it's more like a junior size small. So any clothing that's that small doesn't sell very quickly, and so it just diminished in value in the process. This one is just like a plain South Pole shirt for men's. Oh, by the way, those are my only women's shirts that didn't sell, that I'm not relisting now. That's retaining its value. So that might let you know that there's more opportunity to sell women's clothing than there is men's clothing, because I have quite a bit of men's clothing here that didn't sell. So South Pole, this is just a plain t-shirt. This is an Eddie Bauer men's button-down shirt. This is a Giorgio Brutini Coliseon collection shirt. It's just like a plain gray blue, and that's why I think it didn't sell, is because it was just a solid, boring color. This one I had some interest in every now and then, but just never any bites. And it's a Levi's shirt. It's like an 80s two-ply, I think is what it's called. So I thought that was interesting, but it just never sold, honestly. This one is an Eddie Bauer. It's like what they call a camp shirt, I guess. But it's like a polo, but you can't say polo if it's not Ralph Lauren polo, that kind of thing. So just because of eBay, they'll ding you for using the word polo when you're listing. This one's a really colorful shirt. I actually liked it for me. But it's a men's shirt. It's a Bobby Jones button-down shirt. It also did not sell and did not retain its value. This one is this was honestly out of my husband's closet when we cleaned it out. This is a Covington sweater. I sold one that was in gray like this, but never sold the red one. And then the rest is ties. So, I've got this one, which is a, what is that? Oscar de la Renta. You would think that would sell, but it's actually kind of poor quality. And so, it's just one of those I picked up on a whim and then got it home and saw it wasn't very good. Stafford. This one never sold. In fact, most of my ties did not sell. I've just learned there's not much money in ties, honestly. Bellini tie. And this one also not that good of quality in the long run. And what brand is this? This is Zianetti. So all of those are good brand names, but for some reason they just did not sell. So those are my clothing items that I'm going to be donating to the thrift store. So again, not everything you pick up is resellable. So you got to do your homework and know what you're doing. And some of it's trial and error, honestly. Ties was trial and error. Some people have great luck with ties, some people don't. I apparently don't. Okay, so even though I thought I was getting rid of a lot, it only ended up being one bag right here. And the box of breakables, which is right here. And that's it. So, I don't feel so bad so far, but I still gotta go through the stuff that I haven't listed yet to see if any of it retained its value. Here's hoping.